Hi, so this is going to be a members only video first. If you're a member, I really appreciate that. If you are watching this and you are not a member, please consider becoming a member and supporting this channel. It's not a requirement, but it is appreciated. Today I would like to discuss the nonverbal cues of disagreement. And it's not always so obvious, but it's important to tell when someone's closed off to ideas, to people, to maybe even something they've said themselves, because perhaps they're being deceptive. Let's get into it.
Or whatever you want to call them, for why he might have done that. And one of the things that he said was that they got into some kind of altercation, correct? And then he had hit her, and he was worried about her reporting him for hitting her, and that was why he said he actually Tanya Bennett. Is that correct?
So first we have Melissa Moore here, and this is the daughter of a man called the Happy Face, and she does interviews like this and how that has affected her life. She's not always truthful, but in this case, we're not solely looking for deception. I want to focus on how she's being disagreeable in this part without being obviously disagreeable. Verbally, she confirms yes, but non-verbally, her eyes go up. She's eye-accessing, thinking, is that what I agree with? Is that what took place? Then you see eye blocking, her not just blinking, but keeping her eyes shut for an elongated period of time, longer than a regular blink, when she says the word yes, an aversion to actually agreeing there. And then there's a tugging at her mouth. Now, usually when the jaw shifts or there's tugging at the mouth, it can mean disgust, contempt. In this case, it could mean disagreement with something, an idea or something that they see in a person. It just means that they're not fully committed and open to considering that this is what actually took place, that this is what they agree with. So even though she's verbally saying, yes, that's what took place, it's very uncertain. It comes with eye accessing, having to remember things, consider if that's fully what she agrees with, and more likely than not, she has already made up her mind about what took place. She knows what took place, and she wouldn't normally have to consider any alternative to this situation.
But you were able to catch him sleeping, right?
I have seen him pass out in all sorts of places, yes.
And you also captured a video of Mr. Depp in the kitchen that was played again for this jury today, beating up some cabinets. Do you recall that?
Sorry, say that again?
You recall capturing Mr. Depp in the kitchen of one of his homes, beating up some cabinets?
Yes. Slamming things around, yes.
So you took that video of Mr. Depp in the kitchen, right?
I did.
And you took it on one of your iPad devices?
I took it on my iPad.
You were deposed in August of 2016 in connection with your divorce proceedings from Mr. Depp, right?
That is correct.
And you will recall that the video of Mr. Depp in the kitchen was released online the day before your deposition in August of 2016, don't you?
That's correct.
You're the one who released that video.
Incorrect.
Isn't that true?
That's incorrect. I flew in from another place at the time. I remember learning about it when I landed.
So here we have the cross-examination of Amber Heard during the Johnny Depp trial, which most of you probably already know what took place. In this particular clip, though, while verbally Amber Heard is expressing that she is in disagreement, that what took place where this video is released by her specifically is incorrect, the disagreement I want you to focus on is actually her disagreement with herself, also known as her being basically deceptive, most likely, where her nose wrinkles up, a bit in disgust there, her palpable fissures there around her eyes are narrowed, and then there's a lot of eye shuddering all of a sudden. Whereas prior to this, she was able to just say correct, incorrect. She would turn to the jury when she said these words to make sure that they were reacting, that they heard her, that they acknowledged what she was saying. But then during this particular part where she says incorrect, suddenly you get eye fluttering, her blinking very rapidly, her flipping through in her mind what took place, what she's going to say, and is generally in disagreement with her own words of this being an incorrect idea.
Even if I wanted to do something like that, that's not who I am.
Then what happened?
I can't tell you. How do you expect me to tell you? You want me to make up a story and
No, the truth. The truth is simple. You don't have to make that up. You just go back and tell me the truth. You can't tell me that this event has not been weighing on you for...
Now here we have Richard Allen during the Delphi murders interrogation. Again, verbally he's expressing he does not agree with what the interrogator is saying. So it seems obvious this man disagrees. But non-verbally, let's look at what exactly he's disagreeing with, because again, it seems to be more with his own ideas, with himself, with what he's saying. In general though, if you are in a situation where someone's saying, I don't know what to tell you, and their body language goes from open to very closed, his hands, in this case, go over his abdomen, We have abdomen blocking, which is usually in defense, usually in disagreement, usually closed off and not open to ideas, to what's being said, to the situation in front of us. In this interrogation video, Richard's not open to the idea that the truth's not actually out there, that he told anything other than the truth, which is possible in his case because I have read that he has been diagnosed with psychosis and things that would make him believe or might make him believe that he actually was not guilty, and then later on maybe remembered that he was, remembered what actually happened, or any possibility there surrounding psychosis. So I don't want to go into that, but as far as non-verbally, him being in disagreement, he closes off, his head goes down, he is protecting that vulnerable part of his body. So there's a bit of shame and not wanting to face what's being said, some aversion there. And he just goes from, I don't know, and open nonverbal cues to very closed off, and usually someone's shoulders will go in. They'll do abdominal blocking. He has his foot in front of him. Now, he had his foot in front of him. His leg crossed over one knee this entire time, so that particular bit does not mean anything, but is part of a cluster at this particular moment of closed off behaviors and not being open to what he's saying not being the truth not being out there, and again, this entire situation.
She did need them. We were in a car accident in 2001, and it left her with uninjured leg.
Okay.
And her leg had never healed back fully.
Right.
So she still had like the pins and screws and plates and hardware to kind of keep her leg in place. And she suffered from daily pain. I won't say that she abused them.
That was my next question. Okay.
She didn't abuse them. I think she took them as prescribed.
Then we have Gypsy Rose here, who starts off with her hands under the table. She's not connecting with Kale Laurie in this interview at the beginning of this clip, but then her hands go up and she starts to connect a bit with Kale there. Her thumbs go up. She's discussing how her mother was in pain and had all of these things that she required medication for. But then when she says, she wasn't the one that abused the medications, the emphasis is on she, her eyebrows raised, and prior to this she had explained that she was indeed taking some of the medications, that she perhaps took from her mother's medications and abused those herself. So the emphasis there with the eyebrow raising is around that. But then she puts that one arm back in front of her, that bit of a barrier, and one arm goes down. Now, if you're talking to someone about something that's mostly positive, an idea you have, something you believe is going along pretty well, and that the person's in agreement, but then suddenly they take one arm away and they back off, they put a bit of distance between yourself and them, something else is going on. You know, obviously that they went from connecting with you and being positive, open, and happy about this to something else going on there. This disagreement and lack of openness to this concept that you've perhaps put out there, or the situation, or something they've seen. And that's very much what we're seeing here. The hands being hidden as she is hiding something herself, her disagreement being with herself, not the idea that Kale is listening to her, how Kale looks, any situation that's going on in her environment, or anything that Kale has stated and introduced to her. I'm going to end this here. Hopefully this has been at least somewhat informative. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching.